climate change adaptation and mitigation program really focused on two key management strategies in the vineyard. The first one was really looking at the application of sunscreens to grapes and really trying to understand whether or not they're effective, in terms of acting as a protectant for the grapes in really high temperature events. And the second part of the project was really acknowledging, and this is probably the big part of the project, was really around the development of a water budgeting tool. So there's a lot of vineyard operators throughout Victoria that are not on the river systems. So there's a lot of producers that, again, under different climate change scenarios, that are finding access to water from farm dams or other sources to be a bit limited. What the project did was really build a basic water budgeting tool for those people off the river systems, and really on where they've got their own sort of source of water on farm, and help them make more strategic decisions about their water management over the entire growing season. At the moment, it's really just an Excel-based tool, but we're trying to convert it into an online tool now. But as part of the small HIF project, we just wanted to make this an easily accessible tool. There's a lot of information that sits behind the tool, but essentially what people are putting in is how much water do they have in their different stores. Where's your site? So that gives you a bit of a rainfall profile, and there's some other information about what the current soil water relationships are, and where you might be actually getting some rainfall through the season, to help you identify where those gaps might be in the season that you might really need to look at your supplementary water. And then not only that, overlaying that with a bit of, when am I going to irrigate at those key phenological times in the season to make sure I'm getting the best out of it. Just going back to the sunscreen products, unfortunately the year that we trialled them, I wouldn't say it was overly hot. So, what we sort of proved is, there's some challenges in applying those sunscreen products, actually getting them on to a sufficient thickness that actually then could act in the way that they're intended to, can be a challenge on some sites. And of course, if you get then supplementary rainfall too, you have to look at some reapplication. But I would say that we're starting to see, a lot of the industry, and I mean from warm regions to cooler grape growing regions, really look at the application of these sunscreen products, because they're not impacting on fermentation or any of those quality aspects. And it really is managing that bunch exposure to direct instant sunlight radiation, which is where you can see that damage. And we think that they're having a pretty positive effect, and they're pretty low cost solutions for vignerons to think about using.